other one is sequence diagram. These two diagrams, right, show the state changes. You know, every time when you are using a system, object will be created. For example, you write only one class. Correct or not? Your program only one class called registration. Every time different people go and register, an object based on the class will be created. Correct or not? So there are a lot of objects every time. Okay, that's object oriented programming. So what happened, you know, the object status will change from one status to another status when different functions are performed. You get what I mean, right? The object, like let's say you are a member. So the registration form, when you try to register yourself as a member, an object is created. Your status, your membership status will be changing, or user status will be changing from one status to another status. Maybe from unregistered member or unregistered user, you will become registered user at the end. You get what I mean? So this state changes captured in state chart diagram. You have to show me all the state changes. Sometimes some objects, they don't have so many state changes. Some objects, they will have a lot of state changes. So it depends on your project. Okay? Then the other diagram is sequence diagram. What is sequence diagram? Chapter 5. Sequence diagram also shows the state changes, but not only object. You will show all the objects. You will show all the objects. It will show the interaction. Okay? Interaction between the objects, interaction between the actor and the objects as well. And when every function is performed, how they behave. How the object behave. That is state changes. That is sequence diagram. Okay, sequence diagram. So here you know what's the difference. State changes, one object, one diagram. Okay, now state diagram, one object, only one diagram. If in one diagram I see two objects, I told you, right, my FYP student always make mistake. Even the other day I was checking the FYP report. I noticed, wow, so many objects, one diagram. So that's wrong. That's not allowed. Okay? You have to make sure that in one diagram only one object. State changes are shown. That is state chart diagram. When it comes to sequence diagram, you show interaction between different objects and the actor, and you will also show the timeline. How long does it take for the response sending and responding? Okay, sending and responding the data. So you show both things here in sequence diagram. No worries, sequence diagram is one chapter. So I'll come to this later. Now today our concern is state chart. State chart or state diagram. There are so many names, you know, state diagram, state chart diagram, state machine diagram. All same diagram. Okay, used to model dynamic behavior of classes, or also known as objects. Define object responses to messages, how the behavior changes. Okay, when state chart is used, object life change from one state to another state. How to identify the states? Conditions. What conditions make the state change from one to another? We will see a lot of examples to make you understand. State chart for one entity class, not all entity class. Draw one state chart for one class. One class, one chart, one diagram. If you show two classes in one diagram, totally wrong. Straight away wrong. Okay? So that's what happened when students make mistake, they combine a few. Okay? Okay, now we are almost done with a lot of diagrams. Tell me, if you are given a project, which diagram you draw first? Let's see your logical thinking. Which diagram you draw first? Talk about object oriented only. When you are given a project, which diagram do you draw first? To start with your design, which diagram you go first? Yeah, always database design. Good, but that's not actually object oriented, but good. Database always design first. So done with the ERD. Next. Yes, class diagram. You have to draw your class diagram first. Once you have done your class diagram, you can actually go with, class diagram and the other diagram can be done at the same time. They are not depending on each other. They can be done at the same time. Do you know what's the other diagram? Because class diagram is all about classes of the program. Okay? The other diagram is all about the functional requirement. So which diagram? This two diagram can be done at the same time actually. Either one can be done first. So class diagram, good. The other one? Use case diagram. Okay, remember class diagram, use case diagram can be done at the same time. Either one first. But of course, if myself I always start with class diagram. Okay, better. Okay, after that you draw your use case diagram. Class diagram, then use case diagram. Now listen class, listen. Take one use case. Take one use case. For one use case, you can draw one sequence diagram. One use case is one function, right? For one function, you can draw one use case, one sequence diagram. Every use case, so meaning every use case, you can draw one sequence diagram. You understand what I mean? For every function, you can draw one sequence diagram. So meaning, if you have 100 functions, you can actually draw 100 sequence diagram. But do you draw all the 100? Do you draw all the 100 sequence diagram for 100 functions? We never do that. You know why? Some not really very detailed, very easy, very direct. So we don't waste time. We only draw for all the important functions. You understand? So we don't have to draw for every function. Remember. Okay, now every class we have to draw one state chart diagram. Every class. Let's say your class diagram got 20 classes. Are you going to draw 20 state chart diagram? Tell me. If your class diagram got 20 classes, are you going to draw 20 state chart diagrams? Again the same thing. You don't draw for every class. You only pick some important classes which got a lot of state changes, capture them. You don't have to draw all the state chart diagrams. Some classes like nothing much. So we don't waste time. Okay? So remember now how you draw your sequence diagram from the use case. How do you draw your state chart diagram from the classes? Okay, class diagram. So always state chart diagram must draw at the last, at the end. Okay? You start with class diagram or use case and then go for sequence diagram and then only state chart diagram. Okay? Okay, so conditions during an object life. Okay, either satisfy a criteria, perform an action, waits for an event. These are the conditions that make a state change from one state to another state. An object state can change from one state to another state. Semi-permanent conditions and external events, sometimes external reaction or external events also can make one state change to another state. Okay, without wasting time, go to the example which will make you understand better. Okay, this is the basic state chart diagram. Start, the symbol of start, the symbol of end. Must have start and end. Then this is the first state. And this state change to this state due to event or a condition or an action. Three things. Only these three things can make one state to change to another state. Either it can be a condition. Can you give me an example of condition? If the exam marks greater than 80, condition. Okay? If the student gender is a male, condition. Okay? Now next, event. Who can give me an event? Example of event. Click the button. Okay? Submit the form. Event. Okay? Third one. Who can give me an example of action? Action? Pay the fees. Okay? Register for the course. These are the actions. You understand what I mean? So all this will make one state to change to another state. Clear? Can you understand? Okay, now you must tell me first of all this state chart diagram belongs to which object. You must mention which object. This state chart diagram belongs to which object. You must mention that. You understand? I guess this classroom the other day got snowfall. Right? Is it your class? During your class, no, right? Got snowfall, you know. Got I don't know, either it was raining outside. And I think the temperature was so low. And you know, got a lot of ice cubes, like not cubes, like ice blocks were dropping from there. And the students were playing like snow, throwing and catching among them. It was so much, very, very big block of snow. Again, ice cubes. Okay? You can get ice cube from aircon. So that's so let's go for example. Okay, so these are the state not a process, long away. If you really good enough, you can make it as a curve. And the corner should be curved actually. But some of you not really good in drawing, so if you put like a rectangle, still okay now. It's like curved rectangle. Okay? Okay, then next. This is transition, flow line. Transition to show the direction. Okay? Now, so I told you right, it can be an event, it can be a card condition, or it can be action. Okay? So now let's start. Okay, see this. Look at this. This is for payment class. Payment. So for payment class, you have a class in your class diagram, payment. What are the changes of payment status? Payment object will have a lot of status. Initial status until the last status you have to capture. So here, how many status are there for payment class? How many status are there for payment class? 3. Very easy. What are they? What are they? Unpaid, partially paid, fully paid. Unpaid, partially paid, fully paid. So when you start the system, the payment object or payment class status is unpaid. Initial state. When someone perform payment, so this is event. Event means function. In your programming, you have a lot of functions, right? Functions, so you can use this symbol to show it is a function. If it is not a function, then you can just write the words to describe the action. Or you can use like relational operators to show the condition. Condition can, function is event, okay? Or action also can. Action like save the page or save the form. Click the button. These are the actions, okay? So after that, partial paid, it is a state from unpaid change to partially paid. If fully paid, then change to fully paid. From partially paid also, you can always perform the full payment. Become fully paid. After fully paid, what is the meaning of this? And meaning the object killed. Once you pay, the object no longer exists. So that's the meaning. Okay, clear? Okay, this is how you do your state chart diagram. Okay, let's look at another example. State chart diagram for grade. Can you see grade? Grade class. Okay. So what happened? First, before your results is released, what happened? You see here, start when your result is not yet released, pending. Okay, then when the rate start date equals, less than or equals to current date, your object, your grade will become active. When pass ready, rate finish date and current date less than finish date is less than current date finish over ready. Right? Then lapsed. After 1 year, it will be removed from the system. The record will be removed from the system. So that. Now, did you notice every line got label? Every transition line must have label. Every single transition line you will be given marks. Exam, you don't worry. You still get marks for all the other lines, but the one with no label, no marks. You understand or not? Every single line usually half mark or 1 mark. It depends. When we prepare the paper, exam time, based on the number of questions, we will determine the marks. So sometimes half mark, sometimes 1 mark. Okay, clear? So don't forget the start and end. You will be given marks as well. Okay, now let's go through quickly. Order class. Orders object. The customer creates an order object. The customer submit the order. Once he or she finish, customer submit. The credit authorization needs to be approved for the order to be accepted. So they will check the credit authorization. If they can accept the order. If yes, then they accept the order. If denied, the order is returned to the customer for changes or deletion. So they will see what is credit authorization. Maybe they see the limit of amount that you order. You order for so much, then based on your income or placed. The order is shipped to the customer. Okay, once accepted or placed, it can be shipped. Then the customer receives the order, meaning delivered. Okay, and the order is closed. Closed. Okay, let's see that. See? Okay, first in process, when you submit the order, you don't know what happened to the order, right? Whether accepted or whether rejected. So being processed, right? So processed. So in process. Ordered. Once you complete fill up and you submit the order, when you customer submit the order, ordered. So in process is you are still editing the order. You haven't submit the order. So once you submit the order, ordered. Then the order is again processing. They check whether can approve or not, credit authorization. So if it is accepted, then placed. If it is not accepted, denied. And go back to in process again. You understand that? Okay. Once placed, it will be processed to ship. Once shipped, it will become shipped, then received. Okay. Can I use this example to explain a few important points for state chart diagram? Did you notice the status? Only one word. Did you notice that? Only one word. Can I use a verb? Can I use a verb? Kata kerja. Can I use a kata kerja to describe my states? Kata kerja. Can or not? By right, it's not verb. Status. Sounds like status. Available. Pay. Pending. Okay? Idle. Okay? Ship. Delivered. You cannot put deliver, parcel, ship, parcel. If you put ed, like past tense, that sounds like a status. You cannot put, like for example, you cannot put like this, ship, order. If you put like this, sounds like what? Sounds like what? Function. So it is not status. No two words and don't use verb. Don't use kata kerja. Sounds like function. Function not allowed. Understand or not? Must sound like a status. Clear? That's very important. You must make sure sound like a status. Number 2, every line you must have actions or event or condition. Only one. Event or action or condition. Every flow line. Every line must have an arrow to show which direction. Must have an arrow. Transition line must have arrow. Arrow. Must have an arrow. Clear? Here the arrow is missing. I just realized. Here the arrow is missing. Okay? Every line must have an arrow with a label. Clear? Third. Okay? Your start and end. If you find too messy to draw this line until here, you feel like very complicated or very messy, you can always create another end symbol or create start symbol. No problem. Can have more than one start or end symbol. Actually sounds one. Even though looks like more than one, but it's actually one. You don't worry. We understand that also ending. It is the same meaning. No worries. You can create duplicate of symbols. Clear? So these are important things to note. Okay, look at this patient. This is for patient. You go to clinic. Have you been admitted before? COVID time? Wow, really good. You all really follow the COVID norms, rules, regulations. So I think you don't go out. Okay? Okay. Myself been admitted so far in my life twice. One time when I deliver my girl. Second time when I got dengue here. This blockade. Blockade, lot of dengue cases that time. Before COVID. So I was admitted because of dengue. I didn't even know dengue. I came and was teaching classes, but my temperature dropped and went up, dropped and went up. Then I realized dengue. So I admitted for 2 weeks, cancel all the classes for 2 weeks. Then replaced for few months. So unforgettable time, that dengue case. Okay, so now you see. Entering, you are entering, but I don't know how this status is captured. Can you imagine when you are entering a clinic, system can detect that you are entering? Can or not? Who can tell me how this happens? Wow, very high tech. When you enter, maybe scan your face and now this patient check in, entering. Anyone have seen this kind of hospital before? When you step into the hospital, the system can detect, wow, this patient is entering. Maybe because maybe when you register, or like admission, go to the counter to admit, entering. Okay. Once your form is submitted, admitted, then admitted. Check in. When you check in, go to the ward. From clinic, you go to the ward. Maybe when you are seeing the doctor already put a remark, need to admit, then entering. Okay, but I mean, doctor already put a remark, this patient must be admitted. So, entering. Then when you go to the ward and check in yourself, admitted. Then when you diagnose healthy, you have to be admitted for few days or few months. When they notice you are healthy after all the tests, scanning or whatever, discharged or released. But if they find you are diagnosed with some kind of illness or sickness, then under observation for some time until you recover to fully cured. Then released. Then 2 weeks later, your record will be deleted from the system. Your record will be deleted or record will be moved to the history storage. Can you understand that? This is how. But don't worry, all this not imagination. You will be given the scenario for different projects. You have to come up with a diagram based on the project. Who can tell me what system is this? What is idle? Who can tell me what is idle? What is idle? My professor last time when I was doing my masters, she used to tell me, my voice is too, but today not well. My voice is too loud. Clarity also quite okay. So anyone sleeping also can, my voice can make them awake. But now I notice in this class, many actually falling asleep while listening to me. Either my voice changed, or I'm getting older, or maybe no more effective. Okay? No, just kidding. Okay? Oh, you are too tired. Too tired. Okay, so now tell me. Now my professor, Dr. Professor Au, used to tell me that, your voice, she always, when I present, she will say that. So I noticed that even now when I was teaching in international school, when I was doing my masters, one lady in my lab, I was teaching computer and science, both, and maths also. So I was handling some classes. One lady from 3rd floor or 4th floor came down. She came quickly and, wanted to see who is teaching inside the lab. I was like, weird, but she knows me. I said, I was like thinking, whose voice is this? I can hear from the 4th floor or 3rd floor or something. Not so embarrassing actually. That loud. Sometimes I try to reduce because I don't want to disturb the next door. Okay? So now tell me, idle, what's the meaning of idle? And I got to share with you, I don't get negative comment from students. But I remember I got one comment, I don't know whether negative or positive. You know what the student wrote? UFT. Okay? The student wrote online class during COVID. Sometimes the tutor speak or the tutor talk so loud, I feel like my ears bleeding. That was one comment I cannot forget until now. The student wrote like that in the comment, tutor comment. Oh, so funny, right? Bleeding. Okay, now tell me, what is idle? Anyone? Not in use. Very good. You know what? You go to system, right? I cannot say the system is shut down. The system is ready for someone to use. So when no one is using, the screen, the light, everything will be off. Correct or not? But when you approach the machine, you can see the system will get ready for you to use. That is idle. Ready, but in like sleepy mode. Ready but in sleepy mode. Ready to accept, any kind of actions. That is idle. Very good. Okay, now what happened? When you insert card, the system knows that someone is going to use. So it will be like this. Okay? Then when you use all no need to show because nothing happened to the system. Nothing happened to the system while you are using the system. So after you cancel, what happened? Back to idle. You cancel the transaction or you complete the transaction, back to idle. So cancel or complete. Done. Done is complete. back to idle. Okay, then here, what happened? Service. This one, when the system still working, idle. But have you seen sometimes you go there, blue screen with system out of service? Or most of the time ATM out of service. Especially towards the end of the month, many people go and use like, what do you call this, stress. Even machine can go through stress, You have one testing called stress testing for system. Not only human, even system can go through stress. Too many users. Okay? So what happened? It will go to out of service status. Then when repaired, when fixed, it can go back to idle. So this is the status of what? What object or what class? ATM machine. ATM machine. System plus the hardware. Okay? Can you understand that? Okay. So now, guideline. Quickly go through the guideline. Review class diagram. You go through the class diagram. Pick which are the classes you need to draw state chart. Again, no need to draw for every class. Don't draw for every class. You might have 50 classes. You might have 30 classes. You might have 20 classes. You don't have to draw for all the classes. Just pick some important classes. Your assignment, I better preview now. Your assignment, I want every student to pick only one class. I don't want to burden you so much. Pick one class which you really feel like the state changes are very obvious. Okay? So maybe your class diagram got 10 or 15 classes. You don't have to draw so many. I want you to pick one or two classes only. Why two sometimes? If you find your first class is too simple, then you go for second class. If your first class is some very good changes, no need to draw another diagram. One enough. Okay, so every student, so 5 members, 5 diagrams. Minimum 5. Can go up to 10 diagrams. 4 members, 4 to 8 diagrams. 1 student, 1 minimum, maximum 2. I don't want you to draw so many diagrams, just to show that you really know how to do it. Okay, so again, one diagram, it's fine with a lot of state changes. If not many state changes, then go for 2 diagrams, 2 classes. 2 different classes, 2 different diagrams. 1 class, 1 diagram. Don't combine, no way to combine, no such thing. Okay, clear? Assignment, Okay, now, after you identify input messages across all the sequence diagrams, for each selected class in group, make the list of status. Now, after you choose the class, you already identify all the state changes. Try to list down all the possible, status or state changes that class will go through. Then you can build the diagram, put in the transition line, what status comes first, what status next. Then only add in all the guard condition, transition on the transition line, guard condition or action or event. Okay, add it. Then finally check your work, review your work. Okay? Okay, can you understand? Okay, done with the diagrams. Then the remaining slides very few. Any question on the state chart diagram? Okay, we will do one exercise. Okay, what I do, I quickly finish this. Okay, what is requirement allocation? What is requirement allocation? In many cases, requirement engineers is like a software architect. The process of analyzing and elaborating requirements, demand architecture design will be responsible for certifying allocation to the assignment of architecture component. Okay, what is allocation? Let me brief you quickly. Okay, you have so many requirements, like cuts on or whatever. You have so many requirements, right? You list down all the requirements. You have so many requirements. You list down every requirement. For example, like this add book, remove book, generate monthly report, borrow, all the requirements. Then you come up with the architecture. You know what is architecture? You name the module, module 1, module 2, module 3. Okay, then you group the, the functions according to the module. That is allocation. So try to modularize the requirements known as allocation. So all the related functions we put under one module, right? Yes, that is actually requirement allocation. Okay? Okay, another thing that you need to know is do not allow assumptions about the design to influence the requirement analysis. Do not assumptions shouldn't influence your requirement allocation. Do not analysis. Do not allow the requirement analysis to So again, you don't allow your requirement analysis to prejudge the design. So this too you have to bear in mind. Okay, now negotiation. One more very short topic. You know why these two topics I will cover again in chapter 5. So I'll just briefly explain now. Okay, negotiation. What is requirement negotiation class? There is a topic requirement negotiation in chapter 5 or chapter 6. So now just briefly explain what is negotiation. Okay, let's say stakeholder 1 say borrow book must be done like this or written book in 3 weeks. And then stakeholder 2 says no, written book only for students 1 week. And this stakeholder says no, 3 weeks. Let's say both also got some position. Let's say this is library manager and this is, let's say, senior librarian. Okay, so we have 2 people, we cannot ignore any requirement, right? So what we do, we try to negotiate both requirement to confirm that which one to be implemented. That is actually negotiation, just like you negotiate the price of something. You understand? Okay, so don't waste time here. Now last one, then we try questions. Okay, remember this, I thought who didn't come for class, practical class this week? Who was not there for practical class?
Tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. So last week practical. I was explaining this, but not very detailed, but I mentioned about this. I was telling you there are requirement and this is one of your assignment tasks. Remember one of your assignment tasks? You have to go for either method based or viewpoint. I could explain this, right? You can use viewpoint, which is based on your software engineering knowledge, or you can go for method based. Method based got 2. Either you want to go for structured or data flow based, or you can go for object oriented. If structured or data flow based, which is DFD diagram, flowchart diagram, context diagram, all that, and ERD. If you go for object oriented analysis, all your UML diagrams, use case, class diagrams, state chart diagram, sequence diagram. Clear? So you have to choose which way you want to analyze your requirement. But if you see my assignment, obviously it is my assignment structure, obviously object oriented. So you can either go for object oriented or viewpoint. I still okay with viewpoint. You can go for viewpoint means stakeholder based. Stakeholder based. All the requirement you try to analyze using the stakeholder. Here you try to use logic, object oriented concept. Here all based on stakeholder. Both also okay for me. But this one not logic. Nowadays no one go for this. Because your environment is object oriented. You don't stick with structure anymore. Clear? So choose one. Okay, how to explain for assignment. Now I told you why I will explain during the lecture. So today I will show you. Okay, if you are going for viewpoint oriented, I want you to come up with a string. Okay, basically I want you to identify. Okay, explain briefly what you mean by interactive viewpoint for your project, what you mean by indirect viewpoints, and what you mean by domain viewpoint. After you identify all 3, I want you to explain briefly and list down all the stakeholders of the viewpoints. Who are your interactors, who are your indirect, and who are your domain viewpoints. Okay, then produce the diagram. Produce the diagram. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put any example here, but you know how to draw the diagram, right? Okay. You have the viewpoint here, all viewpoints, and then you have the 3 categories: interactor, indirect, domain. Domain, indirect, interactor. So then you list down all the viewpoints. Okay, then you have to give me a paragraph of justification. Why you want to analyze your requirement using this approach? Why not object oriented? Why not method based? Why you go for viewpoint? One justification. Okay, can or not? Okay, first come up with the analysis, perform the analysis. Second, justification why you prefer this for your project. 2 things. Clear? And this one comes with the diagram. Must come with the viewpoint diagram. Okay, now object oriented. Yes, object oriented. You have to explain like this. This slide, take down. For assignment, I want this. I want this slide. Okay, how to explain? For your project, You explain how you implement. Like viewpoint, how you implement. Interactor, interact, domain. Here you have to explain. First you analyze the objects, such as for your project, what's your title? For clinic, patient. Identify a few objects. When you explain, try to explain based on your project. So analyze the objects such as patients, doctors, medicine, prescription or whatever. A few objects. Okay? Treatment, diagnosis, whatever objects you have in your system. After that, objects identification done. You come up with the object diagram. So produce the object diagram to show what? Explain. Then next, identify the property of each object or each class and also the method. So you say, for example, you already list a few objects, right? Don't need to list all. Just a few objects to show me that how you do step by step. Then choose one object to explain how you identify the attributes for that object and the methods. For example, since clinic management, I take patient. Okay, patient. So what are the patient attributes? What are the patient? Yes, name, first name, last name, whatever, email, phone number, contact number, address, blah blah blah, height, weight. Okay. Then come to all the methods. Okay, method. What kind of method? Okay, of course, register, patient register, right? Then what else? So you have to have all the methods of patients. Okay. Then after explain one class, analyze the relationship. Now take another object, another class, two classes. Explain the relationship between the two classes. Explain in paragraph will do. No need to do point form like this. Okay. So after explaining that, analyze the interaction between other classes, and finally, okay, explain how you come up with the sequence diagram, how you come up with the state diagram. Okay. So sequence diagram means you can say that you show the interaction between different classes and the actor. Actor is patient maybe, or what? Clerk, clinic clerk or receptionist. How? What are the classes involved? And take one function to explain. For example, patient admitted or patient, what do you call that? Registered. Whatever. Okay. Then identify possible state changes for one of the object. You can go back to the same object. Patient, what are the state changes? Okay, check in. So now processing. Then what? Seen doctor. Or already meet the doctor. Okay, after that, collected medicine. Check out. So you can show the state changes of the patient. Okay. So this is what you have to explain in one paragraph. Not one paragraph, one page paragraph. Can be any number of paragraphs, but I want in paragraph form. Explain. And finally, justify. If you choose this one, again, what viewpoint, I want you to explain why you go for this technique. But this one, a lot of justification. You know what? Your system environment is object-oriented. Your development is object-oriented development. So obviously, object-oriented will be the most suitable approach. Right? So that's why you go for analysis approach. If viewpoint also, it has its own justification. You know what is the reason we go for viewpoint? Viewpoint oriented analysis. What's the main reason we go for viewpoint? Very broad coverage. We can cover a lot of things if you go for viewpoint oriented. Okay, these are the main points to explain. And then of course viewpoint is time consuming. This one not really. It can be done within your team members. Okay. Okay, so common approach to identify objects, you can use grammatical analysis. So for example, you know what is grammatical analysis? When you explain your system, right, whatever noun you use to explain your system will be the classes. Every word that you use to describe the noun of your system will be the classes in your system. You can check. Okay, for example, you explain in 2 sentences about your system. Just say something about your system, your project, your assignment title. It's a clinic, blah blah blah, for one, for both. Maybe you can give me the objective. So when he explained later, you can see every noun in his explanation can become the class name. So sure you're going to mention about the patient. Then you're going to mention about the doctor, right? To manage what. So every one of the word going to be, every one of the noun going to be the what do you call that? Going to be the class. This one, grammatical analysis. What is tangible entities? All the objects involved in the system will be also considered as object means things. All the things considered as classes. Behavior approach, understand overall behavior of the system and try to come up with the classes. Scenario based, come up with a scenario explanation, which I always use this approach to do my exam. Exam, you will be identifying the objects based on the scenario. Okay, exam we use the last approach here. Okay, some more. Okay, that's all. So finally, structured or data flow based method. These are the steps. These are the steps. Analyze and process data. You know how you prepare the DFD? Do you remember how you prepare the DFD diagram? Yeah, that's how you do. Analyze, process data, identify all the external entities and boundary, identify the processes and break down to sub-processes, identify the input and output of each process, and finally, identify all the data storage and external resources. Exactly how you draw the DFD. This is how you do the method base. Okay? So, but I don't think you will choose this for your assignment, not suitable. Okay? Okay, done. Can we take one example of state chart? Then only do the class diagram. For state chart, today's revision. Try to do this. Wait, I see whether there is any state chart. This is your tutorial 3, correct? Can you try this now? Class diagram, and also this one I asked you to do in the morning, right? Yeah, try this and then one state chart. Can you do this one now? All of you, right? So I might call one of the group for class diagram, one of the group for state chart. Yeah, and number 9. Quickly do. Master location for your online and delete the shipment code. There are 2 types of customers, individual customers, corporate, which is business. Okay. The shipment details such as shipment code, shipment date, shipment status will be stored in the system. The customer is allowed to claim compensation for damaged items. Okay. So you have your diagram here. Very good. When you have association, right, you should have the cardinality. You know what is cardinality? One-to-one, one-to-many, optional or mandatory or that. If possible, try to draw the direction like this, or it's like this, and then with the keyword describe. It will be better. Not wrong, but if you do that, you will get a full mark for notation. Okay? So like this one also say, it's going this way or it's going this way. Then with keyword. Remember I show you, right, how to do the class diagram. So you can try to put this, okay? Okay. Now let's check one customer, some basic. Where's the method? No method at all. At least the constructor. You know what is constructor? Worst come scenario, go put the constructor. Right. Okay, worst come scenario, put the constructor. At least 1 or 2 constructors, 1 or 2 methods. 1 or 2 methods. Okay. So customer can register, right? Both also need to register also. Yeah. Both also need to register. Some basic functions you can put. Okay, basic methods or functions. Okay. Java we call method. C++, C all we call functions. So any word also okay. Just put some basic functions. First attributes, then methods. You can draw one line. Okay. Attributes, methods. 1, 2, 3 at least. Okay. Okay. So this is the symbol, wrong symbol actually. Inheritance is like this. It's just like this transition line. You must put like this. Inheritance. Okay? Good. Alright. Individual customer, corporate customer. If you can put full name. Indie customer, core customer. Okay? I understand. But who knows? I always have this problem. My paper, they ask someone to mark. I go and mark someone else's paper. They put me mark advanced database when I don't teach advanced database for the semester. Because no one to mark. Then they ask my software engineering or software requirement engineering or my database or whatever programming, other people to mark. So when someone else take over, they don't understand, they put 0 for you. Then later you will be scolding me. So better try to write fully. Nowadays we don't have our own paper. So you better be careful. Okay, write completely. Okay, so what we do next? This is correct. Good. Okay, full mark. Except this one, if got marks for method, I don't give you. The rest all fine. You can add some specific method if you have. Then one customer has one parcel, one to many parcel. Every parcel belongs to one customer. Okay, one parcel can be shipped only once, but one shipment can have one to many parcels. Good. Then one parcel can have one compensation. Very good. Okay. Then the compensation method also you can add some method. Can add some. Okay. Shipment also can have some methods. Parcel also, yeah. Parcel, you have some basic functions. Can you give me some functions for parcel? Parcel, some basic functions. No functions for parcel. Hello. You must have some basic. Okay, then what about the shipment? You have the address, location, okay, like this one. Attributes fine. Attributes I guess are sufficient, but methods are missing. Okay, so all fine. Good. Relationships are good. No problem. Okay. 3 association, 1 generalization. All okay. Just methods are missing. Others are fine. Okay. Okay, who is done with the what do you call that? Yeah, this one. Stage chart. This one. Student class. Anyone would like to share? Anyone wants to give a try? Yeah, okay. Can share here. This one erase, right? Okay. Who wants to share? Group 1 or group 2? Anyone done? Any group done? Okay, if you are not done, can we do together? You guide me, can or not? Can, Okay, that's better. Okay, wow, so fast you can reply. Response. Okay, good. Okay, class, listen. Class, listen. We go through very quickly. Examination center, ABC, results of each semester. The student can proceed with next semester if they pass all subjects. Okay? Student status is normal. They already give you status is normal. Student fail 2 subjects or more subjects, they cannot proceed with the next semester. Status is repeat. 2 or more subjects, repeat. If the student only fail 1 subject, they can go for special examination just because of 1 subject cannot proceed. So you are given another chance. You have to take exam within 2 weeks. Then the result will be released and the student automatically status will be received. Once the result is, maybe you can pass all and then go back. Go proceed. Okay. Finally, if the student did not pay, after you clear your exam, they check finally. You see, finally. After clear all this, only check your payment. If you don't pay, okay, for the semester, they will be automatically withdrawn from the program. Okay, now tell me how many stages are there? How many stages are there? Hello, first initial. What is the status? Then you have start button. Okay, start. Then go to the okay. Then what else you have? Can you tell me the status, please? How many status? 3. Only 3. 3. What are they? Okay, normal. Normal means what? Pass all. Okay, pass all normal. Okay. So let's put normal. Okay, normal. Come on. Repeat. Repeat means? Okay, then the other one? Receive. What about this? Initial state. Exam. worst part in life, waiting for the results. What is that? What is the right word to describe? My elder sister used to, we all get a printed copy. We don't have system to check last time. She will take the printed copy, results, all the subject with the transcript, temporary transcript. She will put in the drawer for a few months until the next semester starts. She won't open. So scared to see the results. For me, I will be the first person to open and see. See different people. So what do you call that? Standby. Okay, some more? Any other word? Pending? Yeah, I prefer pending. Okay, so now pending, pass, all, go here. Agree with me? So pass, all. How do you put pass, all? Okay, pass, all. You can put it as a function like this, pass, all, or pass equals to all. Like this is okay. All subject pass. Okay, or you just explain in words. Pass, all. Like action. Okay, pass, all. Okay, this one. Pending become receive when fail 1. Okay, fail more than or equals to 2, fail 1. Actually, equal is like this, 2 equal. If you put 1 assignment, don't make that mistake. Okay. Here what I can do is pass all, pass equals to all. In the same way better. Okay. Okay. After that, what are the possible? What is the other status you didn't mention? Withdraw. This is when? Tabaya. Who tabaya? All. Okay. So all must go to this like this. Okay, fee not paid. Fee not paid. Fee not paid. Okay, clear? Okay, now normal. Anything missing here? Yeah, anytime receive can become normal when pass. All. Agree with me? Even repeat can become pass. All. Otherwise, forever sitting in the university. Be a student forever. Okay. What about re-speak become receive? I failed 2 subject and above. That's it. Okay. Failed 2 subject and above. Then I take the exam again next semester, but I managed to pass only 1. So I still have 1 pending. So what's my status now? Repeat. Become receive. So how am I going to draw the line? That's what I don't like. You see, intersecting, not nice. I'm trying to avoid the intersection. Yeah, we do that. I have no choice, I do that. Right. This is what you mean, right? This is what you mean, right? Okay. So now I put fail equals to 1. Clear? Okay, what else? What is missing? What else missing? And since all reach here already, so here straight away and. Okay? Clear? This is what? Page left the university and the object. Usually withdrawn and the object. So the student record no more. Okay? So you can just say deleted. Here. The record is deleted. Okay? Clear? You can find better way to put them so that look nicer. Can write like event, pass, all. Yeah, can. I'm just showing you like a commission. I'm showing like a commission. You can write like what event, pass, all, fail 1, fail 2. Can also, no problem. Anything can. You can write like an event. If you really know the method name, then must write the method name. But if you don't know the method name, then still okay. You can write it any way you like. But not long sentence, try to make it short as possible.